Hello, this is Inquisitor with the new build I made for the upcoming Legacy League 1 month race. This is a Freezing Pulse, Sire of Shards, Occultist, and let me showcase this build to you while I'm playing it. Alright, so we're running triple curse. We're running perma blind on chilled enemies and basically perma freeze. So this is a build I designed for hardcore. You can have up to 6 curses, but right now I'm just using 3 curses. And as you can see, even though it's a support, it can dash out massive amounts of AoE damage, map clear damage, without any special items. So the Freezing Pulse is really good for cursing because it pierces every single target and it instantly hits the whole room. So one thing about this is not the boss killer build. That is one thing that this is not. There are not really good options for single target damage for this build. We're spell damage cold based basically. I haven't really found anything that works really well. If you have an idea, feel free to let me know about it. So this would be for you if you want to spice up your mapping. Maybe play a different Magic Find build, or just want to support your friends in hardcore while still being able to run maps on your own if somebody is offline. And we reach up to 8 casts per second, which is super nice. So 8 times per second, all the monsters will be rolled 30% chance to be frozen. Of course, if we crit, that's 100% chance to freeze. So they're pretty much perma-frozen all the time. Those who are not perma-frozen, they're blinded. So they're not gonna be able to hit us. If they are able to hit us, they have Enfeeble and temporal chains on them, so they don't deal much damage. If they do deal damage, we leech life with our Warlord's Mark. We have Warlord's Mark here, so that will curse the enemies and we will leech from that. We have also many other ways of leeching life. So that's the build, and this is pretty cheap build. Like, I have nothing special here, no legacy shit or anything like that. You can get all of this. So then this is a T15 map we're running, and this is how well we're able to kill shit. Right, let's go to the main links. We're using a spell called Freezing Pulse in Sire of Shards. Sire of Shards makes it so that it fires the projectiles in a nova. And I've been playing a lot with this. By the way, my build is called Frosty Nipples. So, main 6 links. Freezing Pulse, and bear in mind this is a spell gem, so level 21 gives much more damage than level 20. In spell gems, this is always the case. We linked it with Hypothermia, greater multiple projectiles, Spell Echo, faster casting, and Arcane Surge. Then we have our 4-link Curse Herald of Ice setup. So the usual Curse on hit and Herald of Ice. And then we have chosen these 2 curses right now, Enfeeble plus Warlord's Mark. Because right now we have gloves that have curse enemies with temporal hit, chains on hit, right? If you don't have that, well then instead of Warlord's Mark here, you put the temporal chains here and curse with that. You can still get the Warlord's Mark in a ring. That is an Elder ring that will curse enemies you hit with the Warlord's Mark. Here we have Poacher's Mark. I wasn't able to roll the Warlord's Mark, so you know, it seems pretty rare. And that's how we get 2 of our curses here. That supports 2 curses. And if you have the cast when damage curse on hit, that's the 3rd curse. So here we have the curses we can use. Temporal Chains, Enfeeble, Warlord's Mark. Projectile Weakness has a knockback on enemies. So if you feel like, okay, well something is still able to touch me, which should not be the case, you can put Projectile Weakness which will have a 25% chance to knock back the enemy when hit by a projectile. And if you want to get more knockback, you can use the Winds of Change gloves. These have projectile speed, which is excellent for this build. Knockback, enemies on hit, projectile damage, reduced movement speed is not very nice. But yeah, we're using that. So if you want more knockback, you can use that. And if you want more damage, we use the Frostbite Curse, which reduces the cold resistance of the monsters it hits. Optionally, you can put Ice Bite here, and then, you know, your Herald of Ice will produce you Frenzy charges. Of course, as we know, we can get it from Poacher's Mark, Assassin's Mark, we can use the rings for that. Then we're using Cast when damage taken, Immortal Call, increased duration, and Frost Wall. And I'll show you why I like the Frost Wall, hopefully you will be able to see it here. So if a melee target hits us, well, once they unfreeze. Come on, buddies, we don't have all day. So they get blocked off by the wall, and we can still pierce the wall. Let's see that again. This time, let's hope they are not frozen for such a long time. Okay, and now we're gonna let something hit us. And as you can see, they're knocked the fuck out. Right, and then we just... That's the technical term, by the way. Optional, if you're a lazy bastard, you can put your Summon Lightning Golem here. In your cast when damage taken support. The one problem will be that your golem will be very low level because you always use low level cast when damage taken. That means your golem will have a very low life pool and it will be dead all the time. Then we got our remaining gems. We're running Haste, which gives us more cast speed. We can use Grace if we go for softcore build and use Queen of the Forest for movement speed with evasion flasks to reach really fast movement speeds. And then we have an option to use Hatred. Now, Hatred doesn't really give us jack shit, right? But the Watcher's Eyes have Cold Pen, you know, 1.7% increased critical strike chance. Just critical multi, everything really massive damage multipliers, but we put this in, you know, it's an optional thing. If you want to min-max, you can do this. Hatred doesn't really give us too much, you know, and we're using our Lightning Golem here. We have a movement skill, Lightning Warp, faster casting. I really don't like this because it feels way too slow for me. And right now we are rocking 3 curses because of our build tree. We took 1 curse from Whispers of Doom, and then we get 1 curse from our Occultist tree. Here, if we look at the Occultist tree, we've chosen to take Profane Bloom, Malediction, and then we went for Wicked Ward and Vile Bastion. Now, if you're a softcore player, you want to have more fun, have a higher crit chance, you go here, you get the extra power charge, and then you're gonna have power charges up all the time. We have we have ways to generate power charges anyways by other means, but I just went here for the additional support here. As you can see, we have 1000 energy shield, and also while I have energy shield, I cannot be stunned, so that is pretty juicy. So that is 3 curses right there. If we want additional curses, say you want for some reason to have 6 curses, you're gonna use Cosper's Well. This gives you +1 curse and anti-hexproof, so you can curse hexproof monsters. Amulets have +1 curse, corruption, and then you got the windscreen boots that give you +1 curse. So we can rock 6 curses, but applying them might be a bit difficult. you have to lose a lot of links here. So, build 3 is here. I'm gonna give you a link to it. We basically gotten cast speed, life, and energy shield. Then reduced mana cost of skills. This is pretty good because this is expensive. 58 mana cost. And yeah, 58, well that's not much. Well, we cast it 8 times per second. So that sums up to a lot of mana. Socket wise, we use first snow jewels that give us 20% increased freezing pulse damage if you shattered an enemy recently. And the most important thing is freezing pulse fires 2 additional projectiles. We wanted to maximize that to give us really smooth and a nice clear. As you can see, it's 360 full all around. Everything will get hit. It's smooth. This is my new favorite map clearing build. And I've made the build, so that's pretty fun. Right. So we use those gems, 2 of them, very cheap. Then other jewels, you want life, cast speed. You can put your strength and dex or resistances here, just whatever to make it cap. It doesn't really matter because we have enough to blow up T15 monsters with shit. So it doesn't really matter. If you want to min-max, then you go for double spell, cold damage for spells, max life and cast speed. And here we got cold damage to spells and energy shield, you know, it's whatever. We didn't bother too much with this. Once we min-max more, we're gonna do more of that. And that's about it from the tree, nothing special. If you're playing hardcore, you definitely want to get this life note here for the chaos resistance, because that's one of the only things that can actually kill us. And that's why using Azir's Promise Flask is pretty good, because we do gain 35 chaos resistance from that. When playing hardcore, you definitely want some chaos resistance on your gear, that you can reach like 40 chaos resistance or maybe even capped with the flask up. Other flasks we're using, Onslaught Flask, 20% increased cast speed, movement speed flask, Dying Sun Flask, this is optional. I won't be having this early league in the hardcore race. And then we're using just Stip Knight for a smoke cloud, increased evasion. You can use whatever you want. So right now we're regening life and mana from hits from targets that have been cursed with Warlord's Mark. If you want to pimp out your life gained, you can use and craft Shaper Rings. As you can see here, we have 10 life gained for each enemy hit by your spells. So 10 life, every enemy I hit. And if there's 100 enemies, that's, you know, 1000 life. And, you know, you're casting 8 times per second, so you will be leeching a lot of life. And this is instant, this is not over time. And you can juice that up even more if you want to, by using Vitality Aura with Watcher's Eye that gives you 30 life gain for each enemy hit. So then you're gonna have massive amounts. We don't really need Vitality for anything though, so it's a bit of a waste. You can change the flasks as you will, like if you have mana problems, then you put mana flask, you know, you put the life flask there, whatever you need you can do. Okay, then the gear. Well, what you need is only Sire shards. That's it. Anything else is up to you. Doesn't matter. This is the only thing you require. And well, we would say the first snow jewels. Okay, so how much is this? Nothing. It's nothing, right? We're using rare helmet, rare gloves, rare belt, and rare boots. one really good thing about the leech, besides Warlord's Mark, is if you can get damage, leech as life and mana if you killed recently. This is super good. Really, really good. You can also get mana gained per enemy hit by your spells on Shaper Rings. Yeah. Alright, so here we're using so all these are pretty free. Like it doesn't really matter what you have here. You know, you just want to cap your resistances and that's it. We got so much damage here. It's super strong skill for AoE clear. It's not for bosses, like I said. Let's talk about the uniques then. So we got the Sire shards. I'm using Comb's Heart for hardcore. I'm able to reach, this is like 6.6k total with Comb's Heart. I won't be having this early game, so you know, I'll be having some random armor. And if you wanna pimp out your shit, you can use a shaped chest, which gives you spell critical strike chance. Also, you know, if you use Elder chest, you can get 6% life recovered on kill. Reduced physical damage taken. Here we have 4% of max life on kill, right? So, you know, you can get that or whatever. You can craft beautiful things. So this 1.4% spell crit is super strong. Also, you could get it on your gloves. Spell crit on gloves, but that's only if you want to, you don't have to. I wouldn't. Then we're using snake pit rings. Now, these drop from Hydra. These are not really used anywhere, so these are super cheap, at least, you know, after the few days of the league. And these give us spells, fire, additional projectile, which we like. Also gives cast speed and cold damage, so it has like the 3 things that we really want to have. These are optional, but I do recommend these. And you can have nice corruptions here. If you want to min-max, you put cast speed or, you know, whatever there. You have some nice, cannot be ignited, cannot be inflicted with bleed. That is the best corruption in the game, which you can get on a ring. And if you do, like, it's gonna be expensive rings, so I do recommend you to corrupt it. You can use any rings basically that just cap your resistances and whatever. You can use the life gain for each enemy hit by your spells. You can use curse enemies with curses. You have Assassin's Mark. More life gained on hit. You know, Poacher's Mark and life gained on hit, and you could have mana gained on hit, so you can have beautiful rings, but nothing is required, right? So that's the chest. Helmet. We would like to get the Freezing Pulse projectile speed. This is a merciless enchant, 30%. Uber enchant will be 45% increased pulse projectile, Freezing Pulse projectile speed, and that affects how fast the projectile travels from point A to point B. And the faster it travels, the faster we can curse enemies, and the less time they have to react and shoot and try to kill us. So that's why the cast speed is super nice. I mean the projectile speed. We're using a rare helmet here. If you want, you should use energy shield based, because we do have some energy shield increase nodes here. And you know, we do benefit from it. We do not benefit from armor at all. If you're playing softcore and you wanna go for Queen of the Forest, really fast movement speed, magic finder, whatever, you want all of your items to be evasion. And then you just use evasion flask with increased effect of the flask and increased 100% increased evasion during the flask effect, and then a super good movement speed flask with the haste aura, and then you're flying through the map. And you basically, if you just find a helmet that has the enchant, you can buy it. Doesn't really matter what it is, as long as you can get your resistances in order. You don't have to have this. It's a bonus. It's not required at all. This is with it, and this is without it. So I'm not sure if you can see the difference. I can't, but you know. Alright, that is the helmet part. Now let's get to amulet part. So we're using the Pandemonious because of its great synergy. This gives us cold damage, chill enemies for 1 second when hit, slowing them by 30%. Blind chilled enemies on hit. Now this is massive because we chill every enemy we hit. So that means all the enemies are blinded all the time. That is super strong. We're basically taking out all the physical damage dealers out of the game. And you remember, if they do come close to us, we'll proc the frost wall and knock them on the other side, and they have to go around it. It looks pretty funny when they do. A really nice bonus. We penetrate 20% cold resistance against shield enemies, so this is basically all the time. After the second hit. After the first hit, the second hit will penetrate. So that's it. So you can use the rare gloves with temporal chains on hit and feeble on hit. You have different options. Then you can use elder gloves that give you frenzy charge and kill. This is a super easy way to get frenzy charges. Also, this has projectile speed here, which is super nice, so this is like a bonus. And you have dex. This build requires a lot of dex for its gems, so it's good to have dex. Or you can have elder gloves with attack and cast speed for more cast speed if you're lacking your cast speed somewhere. I feel like we have too much cast speed already, like we're hitting diminishing returns. It's not as effective as other stats at this point. But speed means survivability, means leech, so we like it. Boots. You can use pretty much whatever boots you want. Say there's some boots with the damage leech enchant, just buy them if you can, support your resistances. You can use the windscreen boots for extra curse. You can use whatever unique boots you want. It's up to you. You can use what's the boots called? Skyforth if you want to generate power charges, and you know, whatever. Right. Okay, so now mapping. Things we do not want to do. What map mods? We do not want... let's see if I have it. Oh, no, I probably don't have it here anymore. Well, we don't want the elemental reflect, right? That's what we don't want, right? Pretty obvious. Another thing we don't really want, at least on hardcore, monsters have 90% chance to avoid elemental ailments. Now, this will stop us from freezing them or chilling them, so that ain't a good thing. Of course, temporal chains is a bit annoying. We don't want that either. Right. So like I said, this is just my build currently for hardcore. This setup. It's support, curse, can kill low-level bosses. Let's say up to tier 10 you can kill the bosses. It's a bit sketch. But like I said, you can let me know if you have ideas for some single target damage. I've tried it with 6-link Blade Vortex, but it's not too good. You can use Lore Weave Chest if you want to, for maximum resistances, elemental damage, and then the Corsair's Will for the extra curse, like I said. Yes. And that's it. I will link my path of building somewhere, and you can check that out. You can ask about this build in my stream if you want to. Yeah, let's see how this works in hardcore, and if you've gained interest, you can try to make it yourself. It is super cheap. Right, thanks for watching. See you.